You're the reason I haven't reached my full potential, Marcus. Sarah's words cut through the dinner I had just finished cooking. She stood in our kitchen doorway, her new designer bag on her shoulder. The bag I later learned cost more than our monthly mortgage payment. Derek says I'm destined for more than this. My fork stopped halfway to my mouth. Derek. Her new business mentor who drove a BMW and wore watches that cost more than my car. I had been hearing his name a lot lately. Who's Derek? I asked calmly, though my stomach already knew the answer. Sarah rolled her eyes like I was stupid. My business partner. The one helping me build my consulting firm. The one who actually believes in me. I looked at the meal I'd prepared after working my shift as a high school math teacher. Chicken parmesan, her favorite. She hadn't touched it. My name is Marcus Chen. I'm 32 years old, and until this moment, I thought I had a good marriage. Sarah and I met in college. I was studying education. She was in business school. We got married right after graduation, 7 years ago. I became a teacher at Lincoln High. Sarah worked at a marketing firm for 3 years, then quit to start her own consulting business 18 months ago. I supported her completely. I took on extra tutoring jobs to cover our bills while she built her client base. I cooked, cleaned, and handled the house so she could focus. Her business was growing slowly. Then 6 months ago, she met Derek Walsh at a networking event. Everything changed after that. She started dressing differently. Spending money we didn't have. Coming home later and later. And talking constantly about Derek's vision for her future. I'm moving out, Sarah announced, still standing in the doorway. Derek and I are launching a new venture together, and I need space to focus. This house, this life, it's holding me back. I set down my fork carefully. When did you decide this? Does it matter? I've been unhappy for months. Derek helped me see that I deserve more. Someone who matches my ambition. She paused. I've already packed. I'm staying at Derek's condo downtown. It has a view of the bay. Much better environment for success. The casual cruelty in her voice shocked me more than the words. 7 years of marriage dismissed like a failed project. What about our house? Our finances? My lawyer will contact you about the separation. Oh, and I'll need your signature on some papers. The business is in my name, obviously, but there are joint accounts to sort out. After she left, I sat at our dining table for 2 hours. The chicken parmesan got cold. My mind raced through the past 6 months, seeing things I'd ignored. The mysterious business dinners that ran until midnight. The new clothes she charged to our credit card. The way she'd pull away when I tried to hold her hand. Her phone always face down on every surface. I wasn't stupid. I knew what was happening. But I told myself she was just focused on her business. That her distance was temporary stress. That Derek was just a business contact. Now I knew better. Around 10 o'clock, I finally moved. I went to my home office, the small bedroom I'd converted into a workspace. I pulled out a folder I'd been keeping for the past 3 months. Inside were bank statements, credit card bills, and business registration documents. The file I'd started building the day I found a hotel receipt in Sarah's car. 3 months ago, I'd borrowed Sarah's car because mine was in the shop. I found the receipt under her seat. The Peninsula Hotel. 1 night. $300. She told me she was at an overnight business conference in Sacramento that weekend. The Peninsula was 20 minutes from our house. I didn't confront her. Instead, I did what math teachers do. I started collecting data. I checked our joint credit card statements. More hotel charges. Expensive restaurants. A jewelry purchase for $800. I'd never received any jewelry. I pulled our bank records. Sarah had opened a new checking account 4 months ago. She'd been transferring money from our joint account. Small amounts at first. $50 here, $100 there. Then larger chunks. Last month, she moved $3,000. I documented everything. screenshots, printed statements, dates, and amounts. I even checked her business registration. Sarah's Consulting Solutions, LLC. Filed 6 months ago. With Derek Walsh listed as co-owner and CFO. The next morning, Sarah's lawyer called. Her name was Patricia Simmons, and her tone was professionally cold. "Mr. Chen, I'm representing Sarah Walsh in your separation. She'd like to move forward with divorce proceedings quickly and amicably." "Walsh," I interrupted. "She's using Derek's last name already?" A pause. "That's her business name. Regardless, we need your signature on financial disclosures. Sarah has indicated there are joint accounts and property to divide. I'll need time to review everything with my own lawyer." "Of course. But to expedite matters, Sarah is requesting you sign a quitclaim deed for the house. She's willing to take over the mortgage." I almost laughed. "Our house. The one I'd put the down payment on using my inheritance from my grandfather. The house titled in both our names, but funded entirely by my salary." "I'll have my lawyer contact you," I said and hung up. I called my friend James, who was a family law attorney. We'd gone to college together. He agreed to meet me that afternoon. I brought my folder of documentation. James spread the papers across his desk, his expression growing darker as he reviewed each page. "Marcus, this is financial infidelity. She's been systematically moving marital assets without your knowledge. Can she claim the house?" "Not if you have proof you paid the down payment." "Do you have documentation?" I pulled out my grandfather's estate papers and the wire transfer showing $30,000 moved from the estate account to our joint account, then immediately to the house down payment. "She contributed nothing?" "She was between jobs. I told her not to worry about it." James nodded. "What about her business?" "This registration shows Walsh as co-owner. That means marital assets were used to fund a business she now shares with her affair partner." "Can we do anything about that?" "Oh, we can do quite a bit." James explained that California was a community property state. Any business started during our marriage using marital funds was community property. Even if Sarah registered it in her name alone, I had claim to 50%. "But she listed Derek as co-owner," I pointed out. "That's even better for us. She gave away half of a marital asset to a third party without your consent. That's called dissipation of marital assets. Judges hate that." James smiled grimly. "Here's what we're going to do. We'll file for divorce first. We'll also file a motion to freeze all business accounts and assets until proper valuation can be completed. And we'll demand full financial discovery. Every transaction, every transfer, every business expense." "How long will this take?" "She wants quick and amicable?" "She just made that impossible. We're looking at 6 months minimum, possibly longer if she fights." "And Marcus?" "Don't sign anything her lawyer sends." "Nothing." I went to school the next day and taught my classes like nothing was wrong. My students were working on quadratic equations. The normalcy helped. During lunch, I got a text from Sarah. "Why are you making this difficult? Just sign the papers." I didn't respond. After school, I had tutoring sessions with 3 students. I charged $50 an hour for private tutoring. That money had been padding our savings for years. Savings that Sarah had been quietly draining. My phone buzzed again. "Derek says you're being petty. This is why we can't move forward. You never supported my dreams." I turned off my phone. That evening, James called. "We filed this morning. Sarah's business accounts are frozen pending asset evaluation. She's going to be very unhappy." "Good," I said. 20 minutes later, my phone exploded with calls and texts from Sarah. I let them go to voicemail. I didn't need to hear her anger. I needed to protect what was mine. Sarah showed up at the house 2 days later. I'd changed the locks. She stood on the porch, pounding on the door. "Marcus, open this door right now." I opened it but stood in the doorway, blocking her entry. "What do you need, Sarah?" "What I need. I need you to stop this ridiculous legal action. You froze my business accounts. Derek and I have payroll to meet. Your business is community property. My lawyer is just protecting my interests. Her face went red. Your interests? I built that business. You did nothing. I paid our bills while you built it. I took extra jobs. I supported you completely. That makes it marital property. Derek is my business partner. This affects him too. That's your problem. You gave away half of my asset to your boyfriend without asking me. She actually stomped her foot. He's not my boyfriend. He's my business partner. I pulled out my phone and showed her the hotel receipts I'd found. Her face went pale. I have 3 months of documentation, Sarah. Hotels, restaurants, jewelry. My lawyer has everything. You've been spying on me, she sputtered. I've been protecting myself. You opened secret accounts. You moved our money. You registered a business with another man using marital funds. I documented it. Sarah's anger shifted to something uglier. You're pathetic, Marcus. This is exactly why I'm leaving. You're small-minded and vindictive. Derek would never stoop to this level. Derek is about to learn that sleeping with a married woman has consequences. I started to close the door. She stuck her foot in the gap. I need clothes. My things are still here. Have your lawyer send a formal request. We'll arrange a time for you to collect your personal items. Until then, this is my house. Our house. My down payment. My mortgage payments for 7 years. We'll let the judge decide. I closed the door. Through the window, I watched her storm to her car. She sat in the driver's seat for 5 minutes, probably calling Derek. Then she screeched out of the driveway. My hands were shaking, but I felt stronger than I had in months. The next week, James called with an update. Sarah's lawyer filed a motion to unfreeze the business accounts. The judge denied it pending financial discovery. Sarah has to provide 7 years of financial records. Every transaction. How did she react? Her lawyer withdrew from the case. Apparently, Sarah couldn't pay her retainer. She's representing herself now. I felt a grim satisfaction. What about Derek? Here's where it gets interesting. We did some digging. Derek Walsh has been married 3 times. Each marriage ended with his wife claiming infidelity. He has a pattern. He targets women with growing businesses, becomes their partner, then slowly takes control of their assets. Is Sarah in danger financially? Possibly. But that's not our problem. Our problem is getting you what you're owed. James paused. Marcus, I have to ask. Do you want to hurt her, or do you want a fair settlement? I thought about that. I want what's fair. I supported her dream. I don't want to destroy her. I just won't let her destroy me. 2 weeks later, I was grading papers when my doorbell rang. It was Derek Walsh. Tall, tan, perfectly groomed in an expensive suit. He smiled like we were old friends. Marcus Chen? I'm Derek Walsh. I think we should talk man to man. I have nothing to say to you. I understand you're upset. But this legal battle is hurting Sarah's business. Our business. Can't we work something out? You mean can I let you steal half of my asset? No. His smile tightened. Sarah told me you were difficult. I'm trying to be reasonable here. The business is worth maybe $30,000 right now. I'll write you a check for $15,000, and we can all move on. The business started with $20,000 in startup costs. From our joint account. That's my $10,000 already. Plus 18 months of operating expenses I covered. You're lowballing me. Derek's friendly mask slipped. You're going to regret this. I have lawyers who will bury you in paperwork for years. Bring them, I said calmly. My lawyer loves paperwork. And discovery. Especially when there's fraud involved. Fraud? What fraud? The business registration lists you as co-owner and CFO. But you contributed no capital. Sarah used marital funds without my consent, then transferred half ownership to you. That's dissipation of marital assets. My lawyer thinks the judge will be very interested. Derek's face hardened. Sarah said you were smart. Too bad you're using it to be petty. I'm using it to protect myself from thieves. He stepped closer, trying to intimidate me with his height. I didn't move. You're a high school teacher making what, $50,000 a year? I could buy and sell you 10 times over. Walk away now, or I'll make your life hell. Get off my property. He stared at me for a long moment, then smiled again. This isn't over. I know. See you in court. After he left, I called James and told him about the visit. He threatened you? Perfect. That shows consciousness of guilt. Keep documentation of any further contact. A month into the legal battle, I started seeing the cracks. Sarah called me crying. Marcus, please. Derek says we need to settle this now. The business is dying. We lost 2 clients because of the account freeze. Then provide the financial discovery the court ordered. Once we have full transparency, we can negotiate. I can't. Some of those records are private business information. Then you should have thought about that before giving Derek half ownership. He has access to everything anyway, right? Silence. Then, quietly, he's actually been difficult about sharing information with me lately. Sarah, what did you expect? James found out Derek's done this before. He targets women, becomes their business partner, then takes over. That's not true. Derek loves me. We're building something together. He loves your business. You're just the vehicle. She hung up on me. But her voice had held doubt. Good. Maybe she was finally waking up. 2 days later, James called. Derek Walsh just filed for bankruptcy protection. For his personal assets. What does that mean for the case? I asked. It means he's scared. He knows we're coming after him for dissipation of assets. By filing bankruptcy, he's trying to protect his personal wealth from any judgment. Can he do that? He can try. But if we can prove fraud, bankruptcy won't protect him. And Marcus, we found something else. Derek has a business account under a different LLC. He's been moving money from Sarah's business into his personal company. How much money? Over the 18 months Sarah's business has been operating? About $40,000. I felt sick. She has no idea, does she? Probably not. He's been cooking the books, making it look like legitimate business expenses and vendor payments. But the vendor is his own shell company. What do we do? We're filing a fraud claim against both Sarah and Derek. The judge is going to want answers. I thought about Sarah, probably still believing Derek was her partner and savior. She had no idea she'd been played. The court hearing was scheduled for a Wednesday morning. I took the day off from school. Sarah arrived with Derek, both dressed in expensive business clothes. Sarah looked thinner, stressed. Derek looked confident. The judge reviewed our motions. An older black woman with sharp eyes and no patience for nonsense. Mr. Walsh, you're not party to this divorce. Why are you here? Your Honor, I'm the business partner of Mrs. Chen. The account freeze affects my livelihood. The business registration shows you as co-owner. But financial records show you contributed no capital. How did you acquire 50% ownership? Derek smiled smoothly. Mrs. Chen and I have a partnership agreement based on my expertise and industry connections. Show me this agreement. Derek's smile faltered. It's a verbal agreement. A verbal agreement that gave you half of a business funded entirely by marital assets? The judge looked at Sarah. Mrs. Chen, did you discuss giving away half of your business with your husband? Sarah looked at Derek, then at me, then at the judge. It was my business. My work. Funded with whose money? The judge pressed. Sarah's voice got smaller. Joint funds. But Marcus supported it. He knew I was building a business. Did he know you were giving half of it to Mr. Walsh? Silence. The judge turned to James. Counsel, you filed a fraud claim. Explain. James presented the evidence of Derek's shell company and the transfers. $40,000 moved from Sarah's business to Derek's personal LLC over 18 months. Sarah's face went white as James explained each transaction. Your Honor, Mr. Walsh has systematically drained the business while convincing Mrs. Chen she was building something substantial. Meanwhile, Mrs. Chen was using marital funds to cover the losses Mr. Walsh was creating. The judge studied the documents. Mr. Walsh, do you deny these transfers? Those were legitimate business expenses. To a company you own? That's self-dealing. Derek's confidence cracked. I provided services. Show me invoices. Contracts. Any documentation of these services. Derek had nothing. The judge's face hardened. I'm ordering a full forensic audit of both businesses. All accounts remain frozen. We reconvene in 60 days. Outside the courthouse, Derek grabbed Sarah's arm. This is your fault. You should have kept better records. She jerked away. My fault? You told me those were vendor payments. You signed the checks, Sarah. You're liable. I watched realization cross her face. She'd been set up. Derek had made sure every piece of paperwork had her signature, her approval. If he went down, she went with him. Derek saw me watching. Enjoy your victory, teacher. Even if you win, there's nothing left to take. He walked to his BMW and drove off. Sarah stood alone on the courthouse steps. She looked at me, tears streaming down her face. Marcus, I didn't know. I swear I didn't know what he was doing. You knew you were taking money from our marriage to fund your affair. It wasn't like that. It was exactly like that. You just didn't realize you were the mark, not the partner. I walked to my car, leaving her standing there. I felt no satisfaction. Just tired. The forensic audit took 8 weeks. The accountant found that Derek had taken over $60,000 from Sarah's business over 18 months. He'd also forged her signature on several loan applications, securing business credit in the company name. Sarah was personally liable for $40,000 in business debt she didn't know existed. Derek had disappeared. His condo was rented, not owned. His BMW was leased. His watches were fake. The man Sarah thought was wealthy was running credit scams. The accountant also found that Sarah's business, stripped of Derek's theft, had actually been profitable. She'd been a good consultant. Derek had just been draining every dollar she earned. James called me into his office. The judge is ready to rule. But Marcus, Sarah's lawyer, contacted me. She wants to talk settlement. What kind of settlement? She'll give you the house, free and clear. She'll take responsibility for all the business debt Derek created. In exchange, you waive any claim to the business and agree to an uncontested divorce. What about Derek? I asked. Criminal charges are being filed. Fraud, forgery, identity theft. He's looking at 5 to 10 years if convicted. I thought about Sarah. 7 years of marriage. She'd betrayed me, humiliated me, blamed me for her unhappiness. But Derek had victimized her too. Tell her I agree. On one condition. What condition? She has to attend financial counseling. And she has to testify against Derek. James raised an eyebrow. Why? Because she needs help. And because Derek shouldn't get away with this. James nodded slowly. You're a better man than most, Marcus. I'm just a teacher who understands that everyone deserves a chance to learn from their mistakes. The settlement was finalized 2 weeks later. Sarah signed over her half of the house. I refinanced the mortgage in my name only. She kept the business but took on all the debt Derek had created. We stood in the lawyer's office after signing the papers. Thank you, she said quietly. For what? For the condition. The counseling. I need it. Yeah. You do. She looked older, worn down. I'm sorry, Marcus. For everything. You were right about Derek. About all of it. I know. Do you think? She hesitated. Do you think we could have made it? If I hadn't met Derek? I thought about that question. I don't know, Sarah. You were unhappy before Derek. He just gave you an excuse to blow everything up. I thought he was offering me more. Better. He was offering you lies that sounded good. That's not the same thing. She wiped her eyes. What will you do now? Keep teaching. Maybe date eventually. Buy some new furniture that's actually mine. She almost smiled. You deserve better than me. I deserve someone who doesn't think I'm holding them back when I'm actually holding them up. There's a difference. We walked out of the building together, then went to our separate cars. It was the last time I saw her in person. Through the grapevine, I heard she was rebuilding her business. Slowly, carefully, with actual professional partners this time. 6 months after the divorce was finalized, I was grading papers when my doorbell rang. It was James, holding a bottle of wine. Thought you might want to hear the news in person. What news? Derek Walsh was sentenced today. 7 years for fraud, forgery, and identity theft. The DA used Sarah's testimony. She was excellent on the stand, apparently. I felt a weight lift I didn't know I'd been carrying. Good. There's more. The court ordered Derek to pay restitution. Sarah's getting back most of what he stole. She'll be able to pay off that business debt ahead of schedule. I'm glad. And I meant it. James studied me. You really are, aren't you? Most people would want her to suffer. She did suffer. She lost her marriage, her business partner, her savings. She's rebuilding from nothing. I poured us both wine. Besides, her success doesn't diminish mine. That's something she never understood. We toasted to new beginnings. After James left, I walked through my house. My house. Every room held memories of my marriage, but they were fading. I'd started dating. Nothing serious, but I was meeting people. I'd also started a math tutoring YouTube channel. It was doing well. 50,000 subscribers in 6 months. Some income from ads, but mostly I just enjoyed helping students who were struggling. One video went viral. How to solve complex problems by breaking them into simple steps. 3 million views. Students commented about how I made difficult concepts easy to understand. Some teachers reached out, wanting to collaborate. I was building something of my own. Not because someone pushed me or because I was trying to prove anything. Just because I wanted to. My principal called me in one day. Marcus, the school board wants to create an online learning program. They want you to lead it. It would mean a promotion and a significant raise. I accepted. The raise meant I could finally renovate the kitchen, buy a new car, travel during summer break. Things I'd put off while supporting Sarah's dreams. Now I was investing in my own. Life was good. Different than I'd planned, but good. 2 years after the divorce, I ran into Sarah at a coffee shop. She looked healthier, less stressed. Marcus. Hi. Sarah. How are you? Good. Really good, actually. The business is doing well. I hired a real CFO and an accountant. No more trust-based partnerships. She smiled. And I'm engaged. To another consultant I met through work. He's kind. Steady. Nothing like Derek. I'm happy for you. Are you? Really? Really? We weren't right for each other, Sarah. But that doesn't mean I want you to fail. She looked at me for a long moment. Derek called me from prison last month. He wanted me to put money on his commissary account. Said I owed him. What did you say? I said no. Then I blocked his number. She laughed. The financial counselor helped me learn to set boundaries. Funny how that works. We talked for a few more minutes. then said goodbye. Walking to my car, I thought about the past 2 years. Sarah had accused me of holding her back. The truth was, I'd been holding us both together while she chased an illusion. Now we were both free, building our own lives, learning our own lessons. Sometimes the best revenge isn't revenge at all. Sometimes it's just living well and letting people face the consequences of their own choices. I drove home to my house, my life, my peace. And I smiled. Because I'd learned that supporting someone doesn't mean letting them destroy you. And sometimes, being left behind is actually being set free.